You are listening to the realestatepodcast.ca, brought to you by J&C Toronto Real Estate Group.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first, the Real Estate Podcast. Maybe I should say the realestatepodcast.ca. That's where you can find us. My name is John, along with Cheryl and Nicole. We are your hosts, and we're coming to you direct from our offices, also known as
The Shed.
The Shed, in our backyard here in Leslieville in Toronto. So welcome. This is kind of exciting. Ladies, how are you feeling today?
Nicole, how are you feeling?
Feeling a little nervous.
Me too.
We've got all this foam stuff everywhere, and John and Cheryl keep looking at me.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, we've transformed our office into the studio today, which makes me very excited. I love this kind of stuff.
Do you want to know how I'm feeling?
How are you feeling, Cheryl?
I'm feeling tall because I'm wearing very high heels because Nicole is actually taller than me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm also feeling kind of important with all this stuff in here.
Well, you are how you feel,
You
right?
are important, Nicole.
So what we want to do today is just introduce ourselves, tell you a little bit about what it's all about and who we are. We are John, Cheryl, and Nicole with the J&C Toronto Real Estate Group. Our first episode, as you can see, is called What's It All About? Although I also wanted to maybe call it Real Estate for the Masses because Cheryl's a huge Depeche Mode fan. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Music for the masses with an album released in 1987 and made Depeche Mode a household name.
See, Cheryl does not just know about real estate, but she's also a music aficionado, concerts being one of her favorite
Useless
things.
information hoarder.
So we're calling it both now, right? We're calling it both What's It All About
I don't know.
and
We'll,
Real Estate for
we'll
the
figure
Masses.
that out. It's really called What's It All About?
We're very fluid.
Yeah.
Okay, so
In the footnotes, this is what the real estate podcast is going to be about, though, is real estate for the masses. You know, when I started getting into podcasts about a year or so ago, I looked into real estate podcasts. And one of the things I noticed is that the vast majority of them were for investors or for realtors, like how to stay motivated and do lead generation, and you need a coach. And I saw that there was a real gap for real estate content and information for the general public, for the masses. And, you know, we all love talking about real estate. We're in it every single day, and our clients are always reaching out to us, engaging with us on Instagram, over the phone, face-to-face, the old-fashioned way. And we just get questions all the time about what's going on. So
What's going on with the market, how it is to be a realtor, what's behind the scenes, pulling back the curtain. We want to sort of share all of that to not just other realtors or investors, which I'm sure we will have some information for that as well, but for people that are just interested to know what our chats are like in the shed.
exactly.
I want a tangent that there's enough realtors that people are making podcasts just for realtors. Like, it's not a niche group, right? This is
Yeah.
a big enough demographic that we'll
Yeah.
make a podcast just for realtors.
Absolutely. Well, there's 70,000 of them that are Toronto real estate
GTA.
board members alone. So there's definitely not a lack of realtors out there. Actually, we went to a conference recently, and someone said that was speaking at the conference that they got pulled over on the way to the conference, and the police officer pulled him over and said, "Can I see your real estate license, please?" And he said, "Real estate license? Don't you mean my driver's license?" And the officer said, "No, not everyone has a driver's license."
But
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of you are probably wondering what goes into being a realtor, what goes into bringing a property to close successfully. So we're just wanting to let you know today what the podcast moving forward is going to be about. We're going to have a different topic every single episode. And, you know, we're kind of looking to spread the word and give information from our perspective. And Cheryl likes to say that we're going to
educate and entertain.
Definitely entertain.
Yeah, and we will cover some of the basics with regards to investing, people that are thinking about buying a property for the first time. And of course, we're assuming that a lot of people that are just interested, and there's so many people that love to talk about real estate, will be tuning in on a weekly basis. Maybe not a weekly basis. We're planning on hopefully doing this maybe 2 or 3 times a month. Time permitting. And the thing is we see some crazy shit every single day. Can I say that? Are we going to bleep?
I think we decided we would bleep you.
Yeah, we'll bleep that out.
It's fine.
So,
We may have to bleep all of us at some point.
every single day we're seeing weird and crazy stuff. And so what's the weirdest thing you've seen in real estate so far, Nicole?
You know, I've told this story a few times. I never know where to put like the emphasis in it. But my most famous story is there was a time that I was with a client and it was go direct, which means that we know there's going to be someone in the unit. And thinking about this story, it was really hard to find the unit. So we were pretty kerfuffled when we got there, which is what had us not really see all the red flags going on at the time. Lady opened the door in her house coat, which is fine. Closed it, said, hang on a second, opened the door, let us come in, and we came into the unit. It was very dark, hard to see the unit. And we realized that we were in the middle of a...
what seemed like?
What presumably could only be
Yes.
an orgy.
So what happened? You just jump right in, or?
Luckily, it was a great client that I really liked. He was nice. But I felt this need to protect him, actually. Protect him from what? I have no idea. But protect him from the orgy.
Naked people.
Yeah, both of us felt inclined to be super polite and still look around the unit. I don't know why, but do we turn the lights on? Do we not turn them on? We sort of turned them on, and then we're like, oh gosh, and turned them back off, looked around, and decided it was not for us.
I know that story, so it didn't shock me to hear it, of course. But the two things that stood out when Nicole was telling that story is she said kerfuffled. We love your old-timey sayings. And house coat. Who calls it a house coat anymore?
I don't know.
I think Nicole is like...
What is it, a dressing gown?
A 73-year-old.
A robe, whatever.
She's a 73-year-old trapped in a 30-something-year-old body, that's for sure. How about you, Cheryl? What's some of the weirdest things?
But before I say my weirdest thing, can I just go back to, you were talking about who this podcast is for?
Yeah.
I truly believe that the major thing that we'll be finding is drawing people in is that we're going to give everyone who's listening a chance to peer behind the curtain, see what goes on in our day-to-day, what happens behind closed doors, and also get a chance to almost feel like they are sitting in this office with us, because this is how we banter throughout the day, right? So it's going to be like we're putting ourselves out there for a short period of time every however many weeks you decide to make us work.
I also just wanted to use that opportunity to say that I'm super grateful that I get to work with the two of you, because real estate can be an extremely lonely profession for single agents out there. The three of us together, seeing each other every day, talking about the experiences that we've had. We can commiserate, we can celebrate our wins. So just a little love for
guys,
Jay and
everyone listening, he doesn't ever tell us stuff like this.
No.
This is for our listeners.
I was also going to say we don't even ever yell at each other, but we just got yelled at about our microphones twice before this started.
Sorry about that, ladies.
We just ignore the yelling.
Yeah. Actually, let's go back to some crazy shit.
Yes.
Okay,
Now,
crazy.
Can I share my story?
Yes.
If you
So
want.
we were looking at a property out in Oakville. So this podcast, by the way, is mostly for Toronto and area real estate experiences. So we were showing a property that could at best be described as a fixer-upper. It was borderline condemned.
Yeah.
When we went in, there was no electricity. It was dark. There was dark stuff on all the walls.
There was mold on the walls.
There was, yeah. Cheryl didn't want to go in, but I'm like, I must check this out.
And our client went in for a split second.
Yeah.
Did you have a flashlight? Were you prepared?
No,
I had
it
my
was
phone.
It was daylight.
Condemnation?
It was daylight.
It was in the middle of the day, and I had my
yeah.
phone. So, and I went over to the kitchen, and there was only one appliance there, and it happened to be the fridge. And I made the mistake of opening it, and rats had eaten out the back of the fridge to be able to get inside, so they could use the fridge to make it its nest. So I saw a rat's nest, and Cheryl did a quick little Insta story about...
I was standing outside after taking a few pictures. Like, no thanks.
And one of our home inspector colleagues basically messaged Cheryl and said, get the hell out of there. Is John still in there? Because that's active black mold. So.
Yeah. And if we can talk about you having to open this obviously not very nice fridge.
I was going to say that. Don't push the red button.
John sees the red button and he's like, look, look, look. And this is going to probably come up multiple times. You'll hear even in my Insta stories, click, 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 as I'm walking around any kind of property, because John has to touch every single light fixture.
People love me for my curiosity. What can I say?
The rat's nest too, we weren't even really 100% sure that's what it was. Somebody else on my Insta story commented, oh yeah, that's a rat's nest.
Needless to say, we didn't offer on that property.
Somebody did buy it shortly after, and I'm sure they tore it down.
It was area more than anything, because beautiful homes
area.
are selling for $2 million plus in that particular
Much more
neighborhood.
actually in that particular neighborhood.
And then Cheryl, remember that time we were actually quite earlier in our career, we were showing a lease property.
Are you trying to tell me what my craziest shit story is going to be?
Yeah.
I could have come up with my own,
Okay.
I will tell the one that you want me to tell.
Okay.
We were helping two young gentlemen find a lease. They were tenants. And we went into this property. It wasn't Go Direct, so we weren't expecting to find anyone there. opened the door and it was an absolute disaster, just a mess, which we often do see in tenanted properties, that the tenants don't take great care of it. But open pizza boxes, there were like overflowing ashtrays, a lot of weed,
chicken wing bones
on the floor.
Yeah,
like
gross.
it was really gross. So we walked in, you could see the look on our clients' faces, like, okay, let's just like walk over these dirty things on the floor. John opens the door and there is a gentleman, sleeping on the mattress on the floor. Was he naked? He wasn't naked.
No, he was in his
wearing
underpants.
underwear. So John was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Closes the door. And he's like, no worries. Whatever he said. But he wasn't like, oh my God. He was like, sorry about that. I don't know if that was his voice. And then at the same time, I was going into the bathroom where there was a poo in there.
Yeah.
Nobody flushed the toilet.
There was a deuce remaining.
Needless to say, our clients also did not end up wanting to rent that place.
So for those of you that watch Selling Sunset and think that that's what it all is, it's not really that glamorous.
There's so much wrong with Selling Sunset, but that's a story for another day. We should mention too that we are not perfect. We do not have all the facts. Much of this will be our opinion and our perspective.
That's correct. And to that point, here's our disclaimer for the episode. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
It's more than just our brokerage.
It's our clients. We represent those entities. But anyway, and we do not profess to know everything. The cool thing about realtors and being an agent running a group like we do is we choose how to run our business the way we see fit. And every other agent out there and group out there will do it the way that they see fit as well. It's not one size fits all. We're entrepreneurs at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that probably will be an episode.
All right, so let's talk real quickly about who it is that we are. That's a pretty good segue. JNC Toronto Real Estate Group, we're top 1% of Toronto agents for number of transactions and dollar volume for the past 3 years.
We do all sorts of transactions all over the city, all property types. We are buying, we are selling, we are leasing.
Yeah.
We have a wide variety of clients. We help investors, we help first-time home buyers, downsizers, luxury buyers.
And our group does about 50-50 for listings and buys. There's usually a representation on either side of one transaction. So we're about half listings, half buys. And we do 50 or 60 transactions per year, have done for the last 3 or 4 years. Cheryl, you'll probably how many? Cheryl is the numbers and statistics queen. So if I get something wrong, she's always here to correct me, which I love.
Well,
I love it. I
by
really
the way, that's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Yeah. But you were also what's that word? Embellisher and bad at telephone. So, and I tell you guys, you can say that I do tell you guys the numbers. I'm constantly keeping you up to date on numbers.
Can we say that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a true story, is it not?
I know, it's a very true story.
56 transactions last year.
So we see a lot.
And it is probably like 45% purchasers and 55% sellers, so listings. We are a little bit heavier on the listing side, and we list both condos and freehold homes. So a little bit of everything.
Runs across the board.
Well-rounded.
Runs the gamut, we like to say.
Very well-rounded, yes.
And if you can't tell already, Cheryl is extremely organized. She's the glue that holds the group together. She's the stats queen, we call her. And she's nonstop on the MLS, looking at statistics, trying to keep her finger on the pulse of the market.
Would you say I'm obsessed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, hands down. Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you for that compliment.
Tell us a little bit about your background, Cheryl.
Well, I was born in Italy. I wasn't born in Italy. My mom was.
You're half Italian.
Oh, that you didn't mean my background.
No. Business, professional.
My professional background. Well, I went to school, university, for photography.
You did. No wonder you're so smart.
I do not focus on photography, but my jobs have mostly been in management or leadership, a lot of organization that's needed customer service. So I take those skills and apply it to our business.
Excellent.
You should have been like a statistician.
I mean, I feel like I missed a calling, but I also like people. So it's super boring, right?
Yeah. No, super boring.
But I do love numbers, math. I like math.
Oh boy, the opposite of me. That's for sure.
We want less than math, more than math.
And Nicole, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my background is Horses, I guess, in summary. In every way.
That sounds weird.
In every day, for many days. I had an equine sales business, so a lot of buying and selling, both in Canada and overseas. And then also a lot of teaching and training, actually. That sort of was like the bread and butter of our business, is doing a lot of teaching people to work with horses and to work with their horses, the horses who've sold them, the horses they want to sell.
Yeah.
Do you miss horses?
No.
Tell the horses that.
Yeah, no. It ended in a horses are tough business.
Yeah. And John, I'm going to assume you want us to ask you the same question.
I'm wondering. I've been wondering all this time.
What is your background?
I don't make these notes for nothing, ladies. My background is actually fine art. I sold artwork for the better part of 20 plus years on cruise ships, as a matter of fact. So
I did that too.
Yeah, you did that with me for the last about 5 years. So
I was the organization person.
Yeah, fine art sales. So I did a lot of art lectures, art history lectures, and I was actually an auctioneer as well. So we used to auction
Can you do some
off.
auctioning for us?
No, maybe in another episode. We can actually
really
talk
exciting.
about home auctions, which is starting to happen here in
I don't know.
in
I think
Canada.
that isn't a long enough podcast.
No, we'll discuss that during one of the podcasts anyway. It happens a lot in Australia. as a matter
Also,
of fact.
can you talk about the fact that you and Doug used to own a
Yeah.
business?
Okay. During one of the breaks between ships, which was, I think about 4 or 5 years, my dad and I ran a production company. So we had a production company called the Vault Studios. As a matter of fact, that's Doug over on the mixing board right there. It's the family business is in production. So
Cool dad.
yeah, he's awesome. You might remember Doug from such 80s programs as he was the host of Thrill of a Lifetime, which is awesome. And I think one of the reasons why I love to do the production aspect for real estate is because it's kind of in my blood, and it's become a really great skill to have.
Differentiator for us as well.
It is. So we can do all of our marketing, videography, editing, post, graphics, design, all in-house. And we actually got known for a lot of our lifestyle videos a little bit earlier in our career that we would put together, little mini commercials for everyone.
Yeah, which many realtors or most realtors don't do. So
Exactly.
Actually, there's something else about who we are that I think is important. I was thinking about this the other day, and it's not in your notes, John.
What's that?
But, there are some people that have never met us before and don't know, but the dynamic as well. You and Cheryl are a couple.
We are.
Not everyone's going to know that unless we say it.
I know. We're living in sin currently, but we've been together for 12 years.
yes,
plus.
we're partners in life and partners in business. And something else that people don't know about us is if we put the three of our heads together, we create one
A
superhuman.
full human being plus.
Yes, I would say it's a full human
One
being,
and a
but
half.
we are a superhuman.
That's right.
We are awesome.
That's right. So,
Stuart Smalley.
in a nutshell, if you want to buy a horse, a house, or a Picasso, we are your team. I also want to just touch a little bit back about what it is all about. You did mention that we want to educate and entertain.
And we were talking about opinions.
I know everyone has an opinion, and I think the media has a lot to do with that. We're going to be talking about where people get their information from.
And when you say everyone, you mean the general public.
Absolutely. And realtors as well, in some cases.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Sensationalism sells. People are going to latch on to the market is down 50%. Is that price? Is that transactions? Is that normal for this part of the year?
I think what's missing very often with the media is that because they are not realtors and because they're trying to do a short story that is maybe clickbait, the nuance of the real estate market and context that you need, as you were saying, is it 50% down in sales or is it 50% down in price? And it makes a huge difference. And then why is it? There's other layers that the media will never talk to you about, but obviously we know.
Yeah. I just want to touch on one thing. You hear the word bidding war all the time. It is the most used and misunderstood term in Toronto real estate. That's a full episode of the real estate podcast.
We'll do one on holding offers for sure.
Maybe next one. We'll see about that. Just because nobody really knows what goes into the holding offer strategy.
It is a strategy, first of
Exactly.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a bidding war. It's a blind auction process here in Ontario real estate for the most part. And so we'll cover a lot of that as well. We want to initiate intelligent and reasoned conversation about the real estate market. And we want feedback from our listeners. Let's talk about some of the topics that we're going to include. One of the themes as we go through each one of the episodes is what exactly does a realtor do? What goes into being a realtor day to day? What goes into a transaction? Because no two transactions are the same. No two clients are the same. No two markets are the same. It can swing on a dime week to week.
It's a very emotional
No
process.
two homes. No two homes are the same.
Homes are the same.
They could be identical, but not be the same, depending on the market, depending on the seller, depending on the potential buyer. So
Yeah. So offer nights is going to be a big one. Things like open houses. People are wondering, should I do an open house? Shouldn't I? Well, is it
What
good
is
to,
an open house?
is it good to sell the property? Is it just designed to get leads for a realtor?
do we really bake cookies?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you have to put your signs everywhere?
Yeah. Are you allowed to put your signs out?
Why do people leave their signs out for weeks?
Home inspections, renovations, I think is going to be a fun one as well. And I want to get a contractor or two in when we do. We're going to have special guests.
We know some.
Absolutely. Just to be
We do. I think staging and design will be a really fun topic. I think a lot of people, because of the HGTV shows, are really interested in that sort of aspect of real estate. And again, we should get a designer in or a stager in. Oh, we know a couple of great stagers who are very fun to have on a podcast.
Yeah. And people want to know, is it worthwhile to stage a house? And, we've done an episode of the top five reasons to stage your home. That's over on one of our Instagrams, our GNC Toronto group Instagram. So we also did a few different episodes of a little series Cheryl and I did called Real Life Real Estate. And so we have some video content to be able to share for you. And all of these podcasts will be put up on YouTube as well. We'll be able to overlay some visuals of some past work that we've done. Pre-construction, first-time home buyers, investing.
Landlord and tenant issues is a really interesting one. I think that it's unfortunate that we have such a big rental market in Toronto and so many landlords and tenants don't know their rights.
Correct.
It's a show out there.
Don't worry, we'll bleep you out again.
Yes. People are very passionate about these topics too. It's very
absolutely.
Because people get taken advantage of.
And everyone has to, not everyone can own, but everyone needs a place to live.
Yes.
And even if you do own, you probably know lots of people who are renting.
Yeah.
So
think of it as like the underworld of real estate, leasing.
Well, people need help to get accommodations. And, that's another good segue into the current politics about the housing crisis here in Toronto. How to make it so that we can get more housing stock, being able to develop as of right.
So serious
more
podcast.
Serious stuff. Yeah.
And we will ask for feedback on what our listeners and sphere want to hear.
Absolutely. So, our tagline is everything you ever wanted to know about real estate, but we're afraid to ask. And there's nothing that will be off limits. You'll be able to submit episode ideas, ask questions at the end of the podcast, which is going to be coming up shortly. We'll tell you where you can find us and submit these kinds of questions. Reach out and get in touch with us.
Would you say our goal is to come from contribution, though? Like, we're not doing this to make money or get notoriety. We're doing it because we want to have fun and we want to share the information that's stuck in all of our brains and just help people.
100%.
We're not getting paid. You guys aren't getting paid, right?
No.
Are you paying us?
This podcast
Who's paying Doug?
Exactly. Well, I'm going to buy him a muffin. Exactly. So, that one of the things that we talk about is coming from contribution and giving back. I know that a lot of podcasters, their end goal is to get sponsorship, looking for paid sponsors. We are not looking for paid sponsors for the show. Instead, we're actually going to use this forum to promote and sponsor ourselves, local businesses. So we're not taking any money from local businesses to promote them. Instead, these are local businesses, owners that we know, people that we want to support in our communities. And we've done this for many years now. We love to give back. We've supported a lot of the local BIAs, namely the Riverside and Leslieville BIA. Having production experience, I volunteered to shoot videos for a variety of different businesses and a lot of charitable organizations. We actually did set up a website. You can head over to www.supportlocalgta.com to see a few of the dozens of videos that we've produced. And you can also submit your choice for deserving locals for featuring.
You said that we've produced, and we always do speak as a we, that we do everything together. This is our businesses, but shout out to you. It's not Nicole and I.
No, it's a royal we. John did it.
Yeah. You film them, you edit them, you stay in contact with those business owners. We may meet them and get the free food that they give us down our face.
But we try to pay for it. We try to pay for it every single time, though. We're not here to get free stuff.
You're like talking to them and you're doing your thing and you're filming awesome videos. And Nicole and I are like, we'll get 2 burgers, please.
Mind you, I did reach out to Eastbound Brewing very earlier in my career to offer to shoot videos for them because I was hoping they might give me a free beer. And they did, which is great. I got to give a shout out to Eastbound Brewing Co. They're amazing over in Riverside.
And he came home stinking like beer. I was like, did you drink beer?
No, I was shooting a video and supporting local.
It was working.
Speaking of just drink for a second, if we can go back, you said you're going to pay your dad in a muffin. If we can just say that's because your dad really enjoys muffins, especially from the St. Lawrence market.
That's it.
Yeah,
So
just wanted to give some context there.
that's it. So big shout out to Doug for engineering today's podcast. Thank you so much. Obviously, we want to hear back from you. If you have any feedback, we'd love to hear from you. You can find our episodes and our contact information at therealestatepodcast.ca. All of our contact information is there, our episodes.
If anyone has any questions, comments, episode ideas, then check out therealestatepodcast.ca. We want to hear from you. We want to bring this as an environment where it's not just the three of us blabbering to each other, but what is that when you're
Collaborative.
Thank you. That's the word I was actually looking for.
I want to ask a question because Cheryl and I learn a lot of stuff on this podcast from John. Do we know what our next episode is?
I'm leaning towards offer nights and the holding offer strategy. All right, that's it for our first episode of the realestatePodcast.ca. Make sure you tune in to our next episode, which will be on holding offers, the offer strategy here in Toronto. Thanks so much, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you. That's high fives all around. That's it for now. Bye.
You have been listening to the realestatepodcast.ca. Visit our website for more episodes and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at JNC Toronto Group.